Hello everyone and welcome to my acrylic pouring tutorial. So to get started, let's review what we will need. At first you are going to need a measurement tool of 1 tablespoon along with your small cups and a bigger cup. And you will need a canvas. I recommend using an 8x10 because that's what I'm working with today. And along with your paints, I'm using the brand Acrylic Pour from Hobby Lobby. And I also have my gloves, which help it so your hands won't get dirty with the masterpiece that you're going to be working with today. I'm also going to be using this big pan for whenever I'm doing the work, and whenever I'm done I can just pick it up and I'm good to go. And the rug cups help for whenever I'm done with my painting, I can just set it down. So before we jump into the fun, let's make sure we have all the supplies we need. So first you are going to need your canvas with your paints and your cups. I'm using these red tiny cups that I've got from Walmart, and I'm only going to be using 4 paints today. You can use about 4 to 5, but today I'm only going to be using 4. Now the paints I'm using are the Acrylic Pour pre-mixed pouring paint that I got from Hobby Lobby. When I say pre-mixed, this means that it already contains the pouring medium, which is the active ingredient in which makes your masterpiece a masterpiece. I'm also going to be using this metallic pouring paint. I've never really used a metallic paint before, but I'm curious of how this is going to work out. I'm searching for a beachy look on my painting, so I looked for this pretty blue to my beachy vibe like I'm planning on having. But to really achieve that, I added a darker shade to make this beachy look happen. So now let's get ready for the next step. So now let's jump into the fun. First, what you're going to do is you're going to grab your first paint, and normally you would like to shake them up well before you use them to activate the paint and everything, but I totally forgot about this because this is my first paint. I'm sure it will make a difference, but it probably would just help it. So you're going to take 1 tablespoon and you're going to put 1 tablespoon of paint into it to put into your cups. I'm going to fast forward this a bit because this will take some time. So now I have fast forward of me pouring all my paints into my cups. Now I am picking up all my paints, putting them aside so I can have all the paints that I have poured in front of me so I can grab my bigger cup to use to combine them all. I wanted to show the camera what the tablespoon looked like after I put all the paint on it, but it looked a lot better off camera. This is what your paints will look like whenever you have them in the cups. Now they won't have some of the paints in them because what I did was I used the same measurement tool to pour all the paints in. So normally, if you didn't use the same measurement tool to pour all of your paints in, this is not what it's going to look like. I know that you all are antsy for the part that you all been waiting for, and I'm sorry to keep you waiting because this process is very important and you need to know every step it takes to actually get your pouring right. What you're going to do first is you're going to take something old, like I used this old Lego cup to put all of my paints in. So I'm going to grab my first paint and I'm going to pour it all into this bigger cup. So whenever you're done with the first paint, then you will pour all the rest into this 1 cup. I don't want to keep you guys waiting, so I'm going to fast forward this process. So after I put all my paints into the cup, this is what it looked like after. I was really mesmerized at this look. So now, finally, for the moment you've all been waiting for, I have my cup ready with all my paints in it, and now I'm just going to get my canvas ready for my dirty pour technique. So what you're going to do is you're going to get your cup, and you're going to put the canvas on top of your cup. And then you're going to flip it upside down, leaving your cup standing upside down. Whenever you have your canvas settled down onto your cups, you're going to leave your painting sitting. As you can see, well, you can't really see it well, but the paint is coming out of the cup a little bit, and I wanted to give it a little bit of help because I couldn't see it that well. So I wanted to give it a little tap on the top of the cup to help it come out. You want to leave your cup on the canvas upside down for at least a minute. Some people do it for about 20 to 30 seconds, but I wanted to make sure that it came out really well. I tapped on it quite a lot to make sure that my painting would come out really well. So now I'm ready to take my cup off to see my results. When I first took my cup off, I was really mesmerized of what the colors were, and I was really excited on how I was going to pour it. So now what you're going to do is you're just going to move your canvas all over and all around just to get your paint moving and going and spreading all over your canvas. As I was moving it around, I really loved how the colors were and how they were spreading, and it's exactly what I was looking for. As you can see, I was having some problems with my paint. It was taking a long time for it to move around on the canvas. I didn't know exactly what was going on, so I kept on moving it around. But then, as I was trying to figure it out, I figured out I probably just needed more paint. An 8x10 you would think is pretty small, but with the amount of paint I released onto my canvas, it looked like a really small amount. So I would recommend putting 2 tablespoons of paint onto your 8x10 canvas. If you've done this and you've had these results, I would recommend using 2 tablespoons. I'm going to be doing another canvas paint sometime in the next few days, and the measurements I'm going to use is 2 tablespoons. If you just use 1 tablespoon like I did today, as you can see, this is how much trouble you're going to be dealing with. My paint was dripping very slowly and was hardly moving. I kept on moving it and moving it all over and all around, but it took a very, very long time. It took me a total of 15 minutes just to move it around or try to figure out how I'm going to cover these blank spots. Over time, what I started to do was I just started to put it down and I started adding my own paint. I started getting my paint and just squirting it in the areas where it needed. It didn't look the best, and it still wasn't moving around as much as I needed it to, but I still loved the look. I will be showing you results of what it looked like before and after it dries. Whenever as you're watching this, you start seeing these blue spots appear on my canvas. At first, if you rewatch the beginning of when I started moving my canvas around, you didn't see those blue dots. But over time, as I started to move and rotate my canvas, it started to appear. But I see it as a really cool effect because I started having cells into my painting, and I loved the cell look. It really brought out I would say it made it look a lot better. And I loved how the colors were, and and this is my first painting pour, and I'm absolutely mesmerized and very proud of how my canvas turned out. So now what I'm getting ready to do is I'm starting to get my paints ready so I can add them onto my canvas. I was getting really worried of what's happening or what's going on, so I started just adding the paint that it needed around areas that needed it to see if that would make any difference. So I start getting my different colors that I want in the areas I want, and I start squirting it all around to see if that would help any much. So as I started to rotate it around, the white in the left corner, whenever I started to dry it at the end of the video, it made it look really well. So I really wish it would have worked on the other side, but it still made it look really good. As you can see, I still have certain spots where it was very blank or had no paint whatsoever on it. So I'm going to fast forward on this part and show you what the outcome will be, because this will take time. So these are the results of my painting whenever I was done putting it the way I wanted it. As you can see in the right bottom corner, I tried to spread it out with something and it looks really strange, but otherwise everything else is exactly how I wanted it. Some of the white pieces on the top right and in the middle on the right, it looks strange, but otherwise I really loved how this came out. I love the cells and the look, and now I'll be showing you pictures. So this is the second pour on painting that I did. I really loved the look. It was very beachy and it didn't have much cells going on at all. But the thing about the 2 tablespoons that I used, you can see a lot of extra paint. Well, you can't really see it, but there was a lot of extra paint under the canvas. So I would recommend using 1.5 tablespoons. I hope you guys learned what you needed to do for your first acrylic pour and that you guys have a fun and relaxing time doing this process. Acrylic pouring is super fun and super relaxing, so I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. Thank you all so very much for watching, and make sure that you like, subscribe, and comment on anything that you would like me to do, and stay tuned for more.